Hello everyone! I wanted to quickly cover some thread sculpting for the Chibi Fox pattern, releasing in the end of November, because I think it's easier to explain in video format. I'll be working with headstyle B because it's a bit more complex than headstyle A. Style A has one seam going down the centre of the face, and style B has a gusset in the centre, which gives us some extra seams to work with. When we're plush making and making our shapes, it's in the nature of the fabric that when we stuff it, everything will pillow outwards. So even when we add shapes that tuck in and corners that go in and try to mimic the contours of a face, everything wants to push outwards, so thread sculpting is just a way to help us tuck those shapes back in a way that might not otherwise be manageable without a more complex pattern. You might use it to bring the nose down and accentuate the bridge of the face, or to tuck the eyes in and make them more naturally inset and forward facing, and those are what I tend to do. For sculpting, you'll need long doll sculpting needles. For reference, here's one of my regular hand sewing needles, and I don't think these are even my longest sculpting needles. For some thread sculpting, I'll do it while the head is on the body, or before it goes on the body, depending on what I want to do. If I want to anchor the back of the head, then I find that's better to do when the head is on. I've seen some people say you should never double up your thread because it gets tangled or you mismatch your tension more easily. And I've seen some people say they always double up. I think that it's worth investing in a good strong thread that won't snap on you. I usually stick with moon thread for most of my work. It's very strong and very smooth. I usually swap out for my smaller needle when I need to make a knot and tie off my thread in the fabric. It helps me be more precise and hide those knots easier. I've already sculpted Umbreon, so you can compare them here. I want to work on the muzzle area to define the bridge of the nose and the chin. If I was working on head A, I would start here at the bridge of the nose, over that seam, and bring it down to the chin seam. There isn't a centre seam on B, so I'm going to work on these two corner seams of the nose to balance the shape. I find the seam and move the pile out of the way, and anchor my thread in that seam, and it should be easily hideable by the pile. Swap out for the sculpting needle, and I want to find that knot and get as close to it as possible without going over it. I'm going to go down, and I'm actually going to aim for this dart here. You could also head down to the centre seam, but for style B I like to use these chin seams as my guides for a balanced job. Now it's through, I'm going to gently pull down, and you can see it's tucking the nose downwards. Next I'm going to pass back up, close to that last stitch, and pass back up to that same corner. Then we can see when we compare the two sides the improvement in the jawline and nose. I go back through again, and this time I will go down to that centre seam on the chin. Fun fact, I also recommend hemostats or sewing pliers to help pull the needle through, but I'm moving house soon and everything's a mess, so I can't find them. And next I'm going to go to this bridge of the nose and find the centre. You should be able to see sort of where the bridge naturally tries to curve in and use that area. As we pull gently, the chin is coming up, and then nice and close, a few millimeters apart, we go back down and bring the bridge down too. Tease the pile to hide the stitch, and I'm actually going to save my progress and tie it off here. And then we go, yep, back up, and this time to that other corner. Now we can repeat the steps from the first side of the face to even it all up. Down to the chin dart and back up to the corner of the nose to finish. I take the thread down to the chin as a nice inconspicuous place to tie off my thread, and swap back to my little needle to do that. I left a long tail on this side in case I made any errors and needed this extra bit, but I didn't in the end, so I just hide this end of the thread too. An optional step would be to sculpt up here on the eyes and pull them closer together, but I felt like I didn't really need to do that here. And it really is this easy. I can go back and do a video on headstyle A if anyone really needs it, and I'll be doing another thread sculpting video for my next coming pattern in December, the puppy pattern. Thanks for watching, and goodbye!